Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, charaebchicago, here with another video. I like to get into something that I think a lot of people may not necessarily be too hip to right now. His name is not really ringing bells like it used to. And as you can see, I decided to get right into the video and talk about this man who has been in people's homes. Name ring bells now. People like to say his name. You say his name and things happen. Conversations start. But why am I talking about him today? Well, I kind of wanted to do this I'm doing it a little late. I'm going to be honest, because I honestly wanted to have this conversation after he had the conversation that he had with Miss Brittany Renner. Now, a lot of people were surprised that he had a conversation with Brittany Renner. I don't know if I was necessarily surprised or if I had any thought about it, to be completely honest with you, but I figured let me go ahead and give my idea and my perception of this man. This man that seems to ring bells and have everybody talking, right? And just like everyone else, Mr. Kevin Samuels, I was introduced to him by the Average at Best. Now, when the Average at Best went viral and went on World Star and everybody was talking about him and mentioning his name, I decided to go ahead and do a little research. And when I decided to look up the video, the Average at Best video, I ran across the 23-minute video versus the 7-minute video. Now, I didn't want to see the 7-minute video versus the 23. Why? Because I knew it was a snippet. I wanted to give it a fair shot. A fair opportunity to see whether or not I agree, disagree, or whatever, and so I can have my own perception of what was going on and what this conversation was about, right? And my whole perception of it is she called in on a show that wasn't even meant for her to call in on for what she was trying to talk about. He decided to have a conversation with her anyway. She wasn't paying attention, wasn't listening, and ultimately being disrespectful. He still gave her grace. Called her average because she called her herself average first, so she gave him the leeway for him to call her average. Still wasn't listening, still wasn't paying attention, and he said, you know what? Get off my phone. And that was that. Now, a lot of people were upset at that. I think because some people saw the 7-minute clip and didn't see the 23-minute clip. I chose to watch the 23-minute clip, like I said, to give it a fair shot. Now, when it went viral, people was like, who is this relationship coach, relationship guy, this relationship guru? Who is this relationship guy giving advice? Who is he? So I decided to go do some research since everybody was wondering, and he was constantly going viral. I mean, he was clip after clip after clip, and I was sitting here like, damn, usually people get their little 15 minutes of fame and that's it. No, this guy was constantly being brought up and constantly having videos go viral. People was taking this stuff and putting it on TikTok and all types of stuff. Y'all know the wave. It was very funny and interesting to me, I must say. So I decided to do my research, like I said. Went on his YouTube page and come to find out, he was talking to men before he ever talked to women. And he doesn't even consider himself a relationship coach. He called himself an image consultant. An image consultant? You know what that means? They consult you about your image, how you look, what your resume represents. That is what an image consultant consults about. How you look, how you present yourself. And he was talking to men and giving them the same kind of curve talk that he gives the women. Now, I know some of you are like, okay, so we still have to talk to women that way? He didn't have to say what he said to women like he did? Well, he was talking about relationships. That's the one that went viral, right? And what we know about women. You start talking about relationships, and women are going to be your number one consumer. Now, of course, so many women had to prove him wrong. What do you mean? talking about her looks like that, had to prove her wrong, and some was like, hey, he's giving advice, I want to go ahead and get some advice. So he had more women just calling in and calling in and calling in and calling in. And of course, because he is a black man and predominantly his audience is black, black women were calling in. So what is he supposed to do? Of course, we live in a capitalist world. Well, America is, at least. So he capitalized off of it. Women want to call in and get some relationship advice. They seem to want to pay attention to me, or they want to prove me wrong, or whatever the case is. Okay, go ahead. Can we really get mad at a man living in a capitalism country trying to capitalize off of something that he did not ask for? I think not. I can't get upset at that. This man wasn't even talking to women at first. He was talking to men for at least 2 to 3 years. He was talking to men, trying to tell them how to look their best and smell their best. So then what happens now? Women get upset because sometimes he says black women this, black women that. Now I know, I get it. Upset. Sometimes we don't like to get picked at. As black people in general, we seem to be the butt of a lot of jokes. And sometimes we even talk about ourselves. So anytime that you specify one race, one race, we're going to get upset. Specifically, black women, we're going to get upset. Because we're not considered the ideal when it comes to beauty. So to hear that another black woman is considered average at best, that's going to hurt a little bit. I get it. By myself, I like to take the information that is thrown at me and throw away what I don't like. I paid attention just for the simple fact that I just want to take in the information that I can take home with me. Anything that I could possibly learn. Now, women calling in trying to prove him wrong, I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. I didn't know where that was coming from or where they were going with that. And some white women did call in on the show, and he gave them the same heat. It's just like I said, if your audience is predominantly black people are going to call in. Period. It just is what it is. Now, the one thing I didn't like was the antics. I'm not going to BS on that. I don't like the antics. I don't like the antics of the Big Shirley and the PhD, even though that was given by a black woman who called in and called herself a PhD. And all of these antics that he does, I don't like that. Of course. Who would like that? I think that's when I started to stop chiming in, because it just became so much. Because like I said, he's capitalizing off of that. That is the stuff that went viral the most. When he started doing those funny clips, you know how many TikToks got started just because of that? Now, I can't get mad again at someone capitalizing off of something, whether I like it or dislike it. It is what it is. Because all of those phone calls are voluntary. He can't get the content unless you call in. You have to call in order for him to get that content. That is the only way. Now, I decided to stop paying attention because of the antics. I'm like, okay, that's enough. I'm cool. All right. Plus, it starts to get redundant to some of the same stuff. I see what his point is. Okay, cool. End of discussion. Now, to the Brittany Renner thing. Did you guys pay attention to how he was talking to her? The setting and how he was talking to her? Hello? My prediction is this man is going to get a show one day. Maybe. Possibly. I could see it. Did you notice how he was sitting on the couch with her? Because let's be real. Brittany Renner is one of the representations of what he was talking about. She is. Hypergamous. Trying to get hers. She didn't marry before she carried. A lot of this rhetoric that Kevin Samuels has said. I thought the setting was interesting. The dim lights, that's what he does on his show. The dim light setting, sitting down, having a conversation with a beautiful woman. What man doesn't want to sit down and have a conversation with a beautiful woman? I predict he's going to get a show one day. If he hasn't already. The Brittany Renner situation may have been just an example, a taste, a sample of what's to come. I'm just saying. Now, if you don't like the conversations and the call-ins, I say just stop calling in. Why is Kevin Samuels as famous as he is? Because black women keep calling in on the show. Don't want to give him more content? Stop calling in on the show. It's that simple. Now, I have to give props to him for the one thing in particular is that because of his rise to fame or notoriety or attention, men and women are having difficult conversations now. Now, whether you agree with Kevin Samuels or disagree with Kevin Samuels, men who agree with Kevin Samuels are speaking up more. And ladies, let's be real. You'd much rather them be honest with you than not be honest with you. So let's be grateful for that. Because there are a lot of women who didn't know that men thought the way that Kevin Samuels did. Because men do not get the opportunity to really speak how they want to speak. Because women like to say that how men think is wrong. So I have to give the props to that. May not like it, but it is what it is. Like I said, I can't get mad at a man who lives in a capitalistic country, be capitalizing off of an opportunity that landed in his lap. But also see where it's going. Some of his content has slowed down. So that means he got to figure out something else to do. And Kevin is smart. He knew this was going to stop and slow down. He knew that. So I say, hey, go get yours. Right? The antics, I don't have to like. Hell, I don't have to pay attention. I did stop paying attention. You know? So, that's my idea. That's my perception. That's my thoughts. Now, I know this is a channel for Chicago and all of that, and we dibble into the relationship. So, of course, I had to talk about Kevin Samuels because he is talking about relationships. Now, he's an image consultant talking about relationships. But if you really like this type of content, where I like to talk about how to improve the community and make it better, and we touch into the relationships because relationships builds community, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the good stuff so that I can hit the algorithm. Okay? Okay. I appreciate you guys. And remember, I love you.